Capricorn, I'm feeling like we need to workshop some things and maybe even talk it through, because I got this sense from this reading already that there is an overwhelm that you are dealing with. And specifically, it feels like you're getting lost or distracted or bogged down by details that either don't matter, or there's just this paralyzing sense of perfectionism. And in kind of the guise of productivity, of trying to do your best, you're actually causing yourself to stagnate. So this is a pattern that I think you need to be very aware of at this time. I did pull a couple of animal cards here, which we will get into in just a moment. This will kind of help us figure out how to work through this energy. We'll also pull some tarot cards as well. But before we get into all of that, I just want to thank all of you who support this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. It is with all of your support that I'm able to continue putting out these messages and doing this incredible work. So thank you so much for that. If you aren't doing so already and you've been following around for some time, I really encourage you to hit that subscribe and bell notification, as I am looking to rebrand, and that way you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. I am also running a sale on my website, so you can get 15% off all of my services, including tarot, astrology, and energy healing sessions. You can get 15% off using the code Jupiter until June 24th to celebrate Jupiter entering into your opposite or sister sign, Cancer. So now is a great time to work together if you are looking for a deep dive and maybe even want to get some energetic support on whatever it is you are working through. So the first card I got for you, Capricorn, was the Dragonfly. And sometimes when I see this card, it does feel very scattered, and I see this almost as a need to kind of focus a little bit. Dragonflies are associated with the element of air, as we can see by the alchemical symbol at the top of this card, but they do also have a very close relationship to water as well. And so when I see the dragonfly, it kind of reminds me of the concept of how our thoughts influence our emotions, and our emotions influence or color our thoughts. And so it's really important to kind of get this mind-heart connection under control. And if you're in a disruptive or frantic state, that's definitely going to be affecting your emotions, and there could potentially be a feedback loop here. That's actually something I want to tell you. Beware of the feedback loop with the dragonfly. I do also get drawn to the eyes of the dragonfly with this card. Dragonflies have compound eyes, so they're able to see things from lots of different perspectives. That's actually why it's very hard to swat them or get them, because they see things coming. And dragonflies do change directions a lot. They're able to kind of change course very quickly, and they're able to calculate that very, very quickly. And so you do have a powerful mind. That's the thing, Capricorn. Like, you are very, very intelligent. That is something I'm getting for this group. Or you're very, very in tune, very intuitive right now, very sharp. But this might even be a bit of a double-edged sword for you, because we did also get the mouse. And a lot of the time when I see this card, this is about being bogged down in the details. I'm going to admit, when I see this card, it does remind me of Virgo energy. I'm a Virgo myself, and I know how we can get a little bit nitpicky. We can get a little bit stuck in the details, and that's kind of why it feels like a lot of you are almost running in circles or going back and forth. You're not necessarily... You're working without necessarily being productive. That could be an energy to be mindful of. And if that is the case, stop. Take a breath. Because sometimes when you get into this very frustrated, I just need to get this done, I'm just going to get this done, you actually create more barriers for yourself. And the card that came here very central was the bear, which I like. This is a very solid, steady earth elemental card. I do think of bear as coming out of that hibernation, and sometimes there is that grogginess, there is that haziness, and things don't necessarily happen right away. And so it is kind of being consistent, being dedicated. I do also think of bears as being very resourceful as well. And I feel like with the mouse, this does sometimes, to me as a reader, indicate something with dwindling resources. So maybe there is some financial concern, or just concern over how you're spending your time and energy. And I think with the bear, there's actually a bit of reassurance here. Like, you can make use of what you have. It's about your strategy. I think strategizing is something that is very, very key, and honestly feels very appropriate with your sign. You're actually quite good at this, generally speaking. So I think right now is the time to re-strategize. Go back to the drawing board and simplify some of this, because I think You're trying to do too much at once. This is already giving me 10 of Wands. We didn't even get into the tarot cards yet. So I am going to shuffle, and I will just say 2 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So there is a lot you are juggling right now. And I think there is actually a way to make the juggling more manageable. Sometimes I think of that being the big difference between the 10 of Wands and the 2 of Pentacles. You're carrying a lot. You're bouncing around a lot. But with the 2 of Pentacles, you can manage this. There is a way to make this manageable. So this is actually a bit of a correction already. So thank you, Tarot. As I'm shuffling these cards, I just want to give you the reminder that these are general readings, meaning not all the messages are going to be meant for you specifically. It might be a good idea to pause this video and really check in with yourself so you can best discern what messages are meant for you at this time and what should be left behind for somebody else, and also how these messages or energies or characters might apply to your own life, and whether these roles are reversed or coming in a different order than I am presenting them. So, you know, be very open with these general readings, but don't try and force things that just aren't fitting. And again, I do have links in the description of this video for readings, as well as all of my other social media accounts. Now is probably a good idea to follow me as well. So what are the messages that we have for Capricorn at this time? What are the messages? Show us clearly, please. What are the messages for Capricorn? We do have the Ace of Swords coming in first. So there is some news. There is new information coming in. Let's clarify. What is the Ace of Swords doing here? Wow. So there was a new opportunity, I think, that came in. And maybe that's part of why it feels like you're kind of juggling things, because there was new information, new opportunities, new relationships, new connections. And this is energy from the past. Some of you had a perspective shift or a shift in your worldview as well. And that's kind of influencing the present, or that's at least somehow relevant to the present. So I actually do get perspective shift. You've gone through a major, perspective shift. You see things differently now. Your mind has shifted. Your mind has changed. And that might be as a result of information or truths that came to you, whether that was intuitive or through another person. We have the Hanged Man. Literally the card of perspective shifts. I told you. I feel like some of you are actually hanging between worlds right now. Maybe something has changed, something has ended, and you know there's a new beginning somewhere in this. But right now it feels like you're kind of hanging between them. Or it hasn't happened as quickly as you thought it would. And that could be adding to some of this anxiety, or frenetic is the word that's coming to mind, kind of frantic energy. And so there has been a pause. Maybe there have been delays. I am just noticing this 2 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, so maybe there is a new relationship in the picture as well. But this could also be a need to commit to something. We'll see what actually comes through, but just kind of poked out at me and I wanted to address that. I'm going to be honest. This reading is very, very similar to the Aries reading that I just did. So if you have any Aries placement, that might also be a reading for you to check out as well, whether that's your sun, moon, rising, chart ruler, whatever. I would look into that video because it's kind of giving similar energy. Ooh. You are at a turning point for sure. 9 of Wands with the Sun. You are nearly there, Capricorn. And you've been working very hard. It's been a bit of an uphill battle. But you are just about at this new beginning. It is finally happening. You are stepping out into the world. You are stepping onto the next stage of your life. But you're feeling kind of wary, sort of worn out. And I think some of this is being bogged down by details, especially if you are in kind of the finishing touches of a project. I think you're being harder on yourself than you need to be. because you feel like you're in that liminal space. Like, I'm seeing this Nine of Wands, and in my mind's eye, I literally see a gateway at the end of this stairwell. And the moon is almost new in this picture. You're almost at the new beginning, the new cycle, the life, the creativity, the joy of the sun. I feel like you're about to be thriving if you're not already. Ooh, that was a lot. Yeah, this is too many. I'm going to reshuffle here, but I am noticing one of the cards that fell out on its own was the Five of Swords. So there could be a walking away from things that aren't serving you right now. You know, when I see the Five of Swords, it's like you might fight this battle, you might even win, but at what cost? So, you know, it feels like there's really a need to be quite discerning with your energy right now, Capricorn. And going back to that Two of Cups I saw, you know, you do technically at this time have Jupiter in your opposite sign, in your sister sign, in Cancer. That entered in on June 9th, and it's going to be there until June of 2026. So might still be relevant depending on when you're watching this. Or even if it's not there, maybe some of these messages still resonate. So you're making your dreams real. You're putting in the time and energy and work. It's important that you're doing this in a sustainable way. So what is the message? What is the message here? We have the Hermit. Why is the Hermit here? There is a need to pause. Yeah, literally just do what I did. Take a breath. Catch your breath here. Remember to breathe. Why is the Hermit here? Tell us more about the Hermit. Hermit with the Page of Swords. Some of you might be talking to a guide or mentor. Sometimes that is actually how I see the Hermit, especially when there is like a card that can indicate communication or messages. But I really get the sense, like, regardless of whether this is being facilitated by another person, you are introspecting and learning about things that are important to you, maybe studying things, learning new skills. And maybe there is someone who's kind of facilitating you towards yourself, to your own abilities, to your own intellect, encouraging you in that way. We do have Pisces and Virgo energy on the table, as well as Leo energy. So these might be signs that you are working with. And the Chariot. Making progress, taking control of things. And taking bold action. Yeah, I think now is the time for bold action. And not getting lost in the details. I think that's literally going to be like the title of this reading. Just go for it. Just do this, Capricorn. And again, like, I don't think you're making things happen overnight, if I'm being super honest with you. And I know that's not generally the message people want to hear in these tarot readings. They want to hear about how they're meeting their soulmate or getting their dream job today or tomorrow. I talked about that in the Aries reading again. So if you are an Aries, might be something to look into, or have Aries placements. But I do feel like there is a reward here. And you're becoming more empowered. Because I feel like by you getting so perfectionistic, this is actually a self-sabotaging mechanism that's trying to keep you safe. And frankly, keep you small. Or shrink you. Keep you guarded. It's a protector personality. If you're into like parts work or internal family systems, IFS, there is a protector personality that's trying to get you to get everything right and perfect, but it's never going to be. You kind of just need to go for something right now. As a bit of an aside, I do feel like maybe some of you are still getting over a period of heartache or instability with the Five of Pentacles, Three of Swords, and Temperance. I actually want to say you are getting out of this energy. You're kind of at the end of it now, but it's been a process. It's been some time. I feel like some of you have been in the Hermit. Ah, I get it. I was like, I'm not getting something with the Hermit. The Hermit and the Page of Swords is coming in as a change or challenge. You need to come out of your shell. You need to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, because you've kind of gotten yourself stuck in a place where it's like, it is a little bit of a battle. It is a little bit uphill, actually, right now. But that's actually what's aligned for you to do. That is the most aligned action you could take, is to get out of your shell, to get out of your comfort zone, to start moving again. And I was feeling like, with the stagnancy I talked about at the very beginning of this energy, I actually did get the image of a turtle. So this is sort of funny, where it's like turtles move slow and steady, but I was almost getting this energy or image of a turtle in its shell, completely immobile, not moving. And so I do think you're coming out of the cave with the Bear and the Hermit. Coming out of your cave. Yeah, what's going on in relationships? Because I feel like that is something to kind of pay attention to, actually, as well. And I mean, honestly, these readings have a funny way of sort of touching into multiple areas of life at once, but I want to see if this applies to relationships or if there's another energy playing out too. Interesting. Seven of Swords. Maybe there is a little deception or sneakiness in the people around you right now. Tell me about that Seven of Swords. Ooh, and Death card. There might be someone from the past who is spying on you a little bit, or back in your orbit. Maybe you're thinking about them. Maybe you're spying on them. I'm also saying putting an end to the games. That is actually a very specific phrase I just heard with this combination. And if it feels like people are being indirect or not saying what they're really feeling, I almost see death as like just playing your hand in a weird way. Like putting an end to it, dropping the ruse. And it does feel like, I was getting this with the Three of Swords, actually, and the Five of Pentacles. Maybe there is like some sort of sabotage or wound from an ex or previous relationship or old relationship pattern. That's something to look out for. Don't reincarnate the same patterns in relationships. Don't lie to yourself. Don't deceive yourself. If something isn't feeling right, then pay attention to that. Address that. Especially in relation to a Scorpio or Sagittarius. Ooh, we do have the Two of Cups. This did come out. I feel like this is a different connection. Because this feels like there's something that's tied to the past that's coming up right now. It kind of feels like an ex. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. Maybe even like an old boss or something too. It feels like someone's trying to sabotage you. Or you have an inner saboteur that is kind of something you internalize from a previous relationship. That could even be with parents, honestly. Tell me about this Two of Cups, though. This looks cute. Tell me about the Two of Cups. Ooh, okay. Two of Cups with the Emperor and the Four of Wands. This does feel like there's a celebration in a relationship. I mean, honestly, sometimes the Four of Wands is like a wedding ceremony. And we have the Emperor, which is strong, solid foundations. There could be an ex that is jealous of someone you are currently with, or jealous that you have moved on. And I'm getting a lot of ego in that case with the Emperor. And if it's not about a relationship, this person could just be jealous that you've moved on, that you're doing better without them, or that you're about to. Because I'm going to tell you, people know things. Everyone's a little bit psychic. Everyone has some intuition. When someone's about to grow or go to the next chapter, I've seen this in my own life. I've seen this in the lives of other people. People come back from the past because they sense something big is about to happen to that person, and I want a piece of that for myself. And I'm kind of getting that for some of you. But yeah, I think there is a really beautiful relationship that's here, or at least you're committed to something for the future, for yourself. Whether that's you holding out on a relationship, or even just you prioritizing your own goals right now, even. It feels like there's a very mature, responsible relationship here. Maybe honestly even a bit boring. I could kind of see that actually with the Emperor, but there is some excitement with the Four of Wands, but it feels different from this past, which might have been like exciting but bad for you. Or even controlling. I feel like there is a relationship where two powerful people are coming together, and this might not even be romantic actually. Anything else for Capricorn? Any other blessings? Getting out of your own head with the Eight of Swords. Maybe there's even someone who's helping you do that, actually. Eight of Swords is about feeling stuck and trapped, and oftentimes it is a perspective shift that is necessary there. Because regardless of whether or not that is true, you have to get yourself out of this situation. And I see this butterfly, it's already transformed, it does need to spread its wings. And that is kind of what I was getting with the Hermit and the Bear. Like, it's time to spread your wings. It is. Don't be afraid to move forward, don't be afraid to move on, especially from relationships as well. Because I feel like you are moving towards bigger and better things. And there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of celebration, there really, really is. And it's gonna take you needing to push a little bit. And take a risk. Take a risk, take a chance on what you love. And as I said that, there was a bunch of cars that just blared their alarm at the same time. I don't know if that was caught on the camera, but it just kind of felt like a little confirmation. It sounded like celebratory. Yeah. And I think those are all the messages I have for you at this time, Capricorn. I do hope that this was helpful. I hope this wasn't too heavy either. I'm never putting these messages out to make people feel worse or anything like that. At most, I'm trying to capture things that are challenging and maybe hard to hear so you can best respond and act accordingly with those dynamics and liberate yourself. So I hope that this was helpful. Maybe give that bear or turtle emoji. Let us know you've made it all the way to the end here. I would love to hear from you. Like, what is the perfectionism that you are letting go? What is the self-criticism? That could also be how this sort of manifests. Kind of write that down. Support each other in the comments. That's really beautiful when I get to see that. And yeah, you can get a reading with me at 15% off using the code Jupiter. That's good till June 24th. And you're welcome to check out the other videos on my channel. One last plug for that Aries reading, because I do feel like that is for some of you as well. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care. Sending lots of love and blessings your way.